If you are in the void and it feels like hell, today's message is to remind you to keep going. That the pain that you're feeling is actually the portal to your wildest dreams coming true if you can just sit with it. So everyone talks about this glow up after awakening, but no one actually talks about the months before that feel like emotional purgatory, where you're sober, you're healing, you're rebuilding your life and your business, and everything just feels flat, like gray. Nothing is progressing, and you're wondering if it's even worth it, right? If that's you right now, I want you to keep going because this part, this sacred in between, is the fire that forges you. So today, this video is for the woman who feels like she's going through hell right now, who has left the old self, but hasn't really landed in the new self yet. The one who feels like she's stuck in the middle of the story, because that's how I feel right now too. Today's video was inspired by day 14, well now day 15 of sobriety. And I thought I would feel proud, excited, accomplished. But honestly, I've just felt bored and emotional and weirdly numb, even though there's no numbing agent anymore. I'm not kidding you. I feel like 14 days has felt like 14 years. And everyone talks about this pink cloud, this surge of energy and pride and clarity, but no one talks about this part, the shedding, the recalibrating, the emptiness that actually comes after you stop numbing and escaping. As I sat in it, I realized something. Like, this is the same thing that happens to creators and entrepreneurs, or really anyone crazy enough to step into something new and big. You start showing up online, you put yourself out there, and then suddenly every trauma and insecurity bubbles to the surface. Fear of being seen, the fear of being judged by family who don't get it, who never will get it, the terror of not making enough money, credit cards piling up, lights turning off. It's all the same pattern, right? It's this uncertainty, this exposure, this survival fear. But here's where the problem lies, and often underneath conscious awareness. It's how the nervous system is wired. It's not wired for success. It's wired for survival. It's not wired for expansion. It's wired for safety. It's wired for comfort, not growth. And so that uncertainty that you feel right now will always tempt you back into the old self, into this old familiar hell, instead of pushing through this pain that will actually get you to this beautiful yet unfamiliar heaven. Here's the truth, girlfriend. If you keep walking through the pain, so the boredom right now, the pressure, the silence, the feeling that nothing is happening, that is where your purpose is built. The struggle becomes your $1 million story. The withdrawal becomes the fuel for you to step on stages. Your mess actually becomes your message. That inner contraction right now actually transforms into the capacity that allows you to even hold all that you're praying for. Because let's be real, like the you right now, the me right now, cannot hold the bigness of the blessings that you're praying for. And that's okay. But I promise you, the depth of the discomfort that you can sit in right now without escaping will equal the height of the transformation that becomes available. It's the law of polarity. Every contraction carries its equal expansion. So the deeper the darkness, the brighter the light that's waiting to emerge. The deeper the willingness to feel it all, the bigger the manifestation will be. And so I've met a lot of edges and transcended a lot of versions of myself, including the one I'm going through right now in sobriety and scaling this new business. And I find it interesting. It always follows these 3 phases that I'm going to share with you right now because I think it will help. So phase 1 is the crumble. I always say the quantum crumble always comes before the quantum leap. And what activates the crumble is when your survival patterns start breaking down. So the overworking, the perfectionism, the numbing, the controlling, they stop working, even though they've kept you safe for years, because if you were performing, you were valuable. Or if you were perfect, you would never be judged or criticized. But at this point, your body starts to whisper, I cannot keep going like this anymore. And that whisper gets louder and louder with symptoms like pain, like anxiety, like addiction, like exhaustion, which brings you to phase 2, which is false progress, or what I like to call lipstick on a pig. So this is when you give into the crumble. You surrender. You say with conviction, I'm letting go. I'm making a change, and I'm going to do it differently this time. But in reality, it's still control disguised as healing. It's still ego disguised as purpose. It's still fear disguised as action. So you script, you plan out every step, you overthink every plan, you high vibe your way through, you regulate your nervous system because you think it's the thing that's going to help you expand, even though subconsciously it doesn't help you expand. It's a sneaky way of helping you avoid and bypass. You're still performing safety at this point and you're still hustling, but now it's just spiritualized. It looks like progress, but it's actually just survival in prettier clothes. And that's okay. That's part of the process because your body doesn't yet trust peace. It doesn't yet trust this slowing down, allowing itself to actually feel what's trying to bubble up. It still thinks chaos is what keeps you alive. It still confuses stillness with danger. So that's why you keep moving. You keep trying to fix, strive. When actually what would change everything would be you sitting in the stillness, being right here in the damn fire, knowing that the stillness that you're now surrendered to or that discomfort you've actually allowed yourself to be in isn't the absence of progress. It's actually the preparation for it. This is the space where God primes you, where everything you've prayed for is quietly being rearranged behind the scenes in your favor, which then brings us to phase 3. Which is the death and the rebirth. When the pain of staying the same or the depletion that comes from trying to cling to these survival patterns actually outweighs the fear and the uncertainty of the change. So you start taking the new actions, you start speaking your truth, you post the video, you stay sober for another day, and then your body screams danger because it has never felt this free. It's never felt this seen. It's never felt this raw and real. And that's why it feels like death. Because it is death of the small false self. It is the death of the chaos that has felt like home for decades. It is death of this identity that's actually been built on trauma. I've been doing breath work lately, and I used to despise breath work because it's this fast, intense breathing. You actually have to do work. It forces you to actively engage and feel. It's not this beautiful, peaceful oasis meditation is, at least in the beginning. And so in every session, you have to do these breath holds at the bottom and the top. And in the first week, my body panicked. I literally felt like I was going to suffocate. Every part of my being wanted to gasp for air, grasp for this control. But then in those holds, I started to whisper to myself, you are safe. I've got you. If it came down to it, I'll give you air, right? And as I sat in those holds, something shifted. My body started to trust me. My body started to relax into that discomfort. And the facilitator kept saying, stay with it. This is the in-between. This is where the recalibration happens. And that's what this uncomfortable integration phase that you're in feels like. It's that moment between the last breath of who you were and the first breath of who you're becoming. And I saw the same thing last year, about a year ago, November, when I was in my dark night of the soul. Now, this was a really dark time. The depression that I felt, I honestly felt like it was going to swallow me whole. And normally I would try to run and fix it. But in this phase, in this dark night, I had actually paused my business for 6 months. So I had zero income coming in. I had zero energy to do anything and zero capacity to hurry and rush and try to heal like I usually would. And so all I did was walk. I would get lost in the forest. I would walk 4 to 6 miles a day, just me and nature. And something miraculous started to happen around day 16. I track how I'm feeling and what I'm doing so I can make those connections. And I do that with clients too. And I had woken up with this lightness, like this real joy, not the forced manufactured joy, like this pure joy that I probably hadn't had or felt in 10 years. But that wouldn't have happened if I kept trying to run to the next supplement or healing protocol. It happened because I stayed with the darkness. I leaned in. I got curious about what it was trying to tell me. But most importantly, I made myself feel safe in the sadness. And I did it long enough for the light to return on its own. And funny enough, it didn't take that long. We think it's going to, but it would have taken a lot longer if I was trying to run away from it and trying to fix it. Your body doesn't need you to get rid of the pain and the discomfort. It just desperately wants to be held in it, just like a small child wants from a parent. It just wants to feel okay feeling it all. And that's when the pain loses its grip. That's when you can actually ascend into this new self, this next level you're trying to so hard to achieve right now. So, my love, pain is not the punishment for past mistakes. It's actually the passageway to your rebirth. It will feel like death because it is death of the small self. It is death of the false self. It is death of the ego based in fear. It is death of the part of you that felt like it had to earn love and success and safety. But the only way to transcend this is to actually go through. Time will pass anyway. And you can keep saying yes to these short-term fixes that eventually revert you back to the pain, or you can sit in the pain now and let it change you. It's always a choice. So every day you breathe through the urge to escape, you are teaching your nervous system to trust stillness. And that is how you build leadership. That's how you build the capacity for love, for visibility, for success, for wealth, for this peace that you're craving. That flat, boring, gray middle, when it feels like nothing is changing, when it feels like you might be in it forever, you might actually feel like this forever. Gosh, I know that feeling. That's your cocoon. And I want you to honor this sacred time. It is actually pressure turning coal into diamonds. It's stillness creating safety that will be this foundation for the most extraordinary life that's actually trying to unfold. So don't cock block God trying to work his magic in your life right now. So if you're walking through hell right now, keep going. Not because you have something to prove, because this is where you learn to hold, but because this is where your soul learns to hold heaven. Be alive in the stillness. Let the pressure shape you. Let the silence teach you. Let God mold you into who you need to be able to hold the blessings that you're praying for right now. Pain is the portal to your becoming. So if this message spoke to you, please subscribe to this channel. It's all for women rising from burnout, from addiction, from spiritual awakening. I've also just started my Substack. Those will be more in the moment, raw, real transmissions. So be sure to click over and subscribe there. And then you'll get $100 off my 90-minute divine direction calls if you're subscribed to YouTube and Substack. So I hope this message healed you in the moment. I hope it shifted something in you and activated you into continuing to move forward today, even though you're in the fire, even though you're feeling this in-between pain that is the void, right? And until next time.